Welcome to the High Fae Housewives podcast. I'm Blakely.
And I'm Kylie.
We're currently working towards our Masters in the Maasverse. Our current course is focused on Crescent City, House of Sky and Breath by Sarah Janet Maas. Today, we're chatting the final chapters, 73 through 78, and the epilogue. Seriously, how the hell are we done with book 2?
It came so fast.
That's what she
I
said.
started to say it, and I was like, oh shit, what am I saying?
Well done.
Which, good lead into warning, while we may be your silly gal pals, we don't recommend listening to this podcast around little ears or ears that may be offended because we say bad words and shitty things. Now relax those shoulders, unclench those jaws, clench that clam, and let's get into it. Chapter 73, and this is heavy lore. So Rigela's monologues about being gods who feed off the veneer and basically tells Bryce that it is no biggie that they feed off their power since they've let veneer rule over humans and are able to be free range. He then shares that it was his plan all along to get Bryce there to open the rifts with her starborn power. He starts claiming that with the horn bound to her body, she can open it. Her ancestor wielded the horn and another Fae object that allowed them to enter this world, but it was stolen from their original masters, aka his peeps. The Asteri built fearsome warriors in Midgard to be their army. All of them were traitors to their creators, joining the Fae to overthrow his brothers and sisters 1,000 years before we arrived on Midgard. So Rigela says, we are higher beings. We are gods. You cannot blame us if our source of nutrition is inconvenient for you. And this is actually a very interesting line. Are they comparable to the gods, the 36 mentioned in Throne of Glass, or are they actually gods themselves? Being a god, textbook definition is the supreme or ultimate reality, such as the being perfect in power, wisdom, and goodness who is worshipped as creator and ruler of the universe, or a being or object that is worshipped as having more than natural attributes and powers, specifically one controlling a particular aspect or part of reality. 3, a person or thing of supreme value. And 4, a powerful ruler. I mean, they are by definition, with them being powerful rulers, gods.
Yeah, reading that part definitely tickled my brain a little bit because, like, what are these things? And they say they're gods, and then it makes me think, are gods born from the void? Like, are Mala, Deanna, and are they apart from the void as well? Or do gods just simply exist? Like, I have questions.
This is a really deep conversation. We can expand more in the next book. I'm so excited that we can just like blow our theory load finally.
Thank God. I love blowing a theory load.
I also think it's interesting that Rigela said rifts, as in plural, but we only discussed the Northern Rift. We've mentioned this in Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood, and spoiler alert, it is mentioned in passing twice in the next book, but not much more. Where does the Southern Rift open up to generally?
I hate that my brain goes to elf, and I'm like, ooh, you're angry. You're South Pole elf. That's where the Southern Rift goes in my brain.
Maybe it opens up to the Asteri's world and it just like straight up locked.
Who's to say?
Damn, you beat me to it.
I do have a lot of thoughts about the rifts besides angry elves, but we're gonna have to stay tuned until the next book. So in this, it says, you're starborn and have the horn bound to your body and power. Your ancestors wielded the horn and another Fae object that allowed them to enter this world. Stolen, of course, from their original masters, our people. Our people who built fearsome warriors in the world to be their army. All of them prototypes for the angels in this one. All of them traitors to their creator, joined the Fae to overthrow my brothers and sisters 1,000 years before we arrived on Midgard. They slew my siblings. Here's the proof that Daglan and the Asteri are in fact siblings. It is wild that people still argue this on the internet. But the comment about building fearsome warriors He's meaning the Illyrians, because when they're talking about Illyrians, we know they're not high fae or lesser fairies. They're something other. Now, when we do our ACOTAR deep dive this June, we'll obviously go way more into Illyrians, but I just wanted to give a little lore, specifically one tidbit for Kylie. The Illyrian culture was a group of Indo-European tribes that inhabited the Western Balkan Peninsula and the Eastern Adriatic coast from the 2nd millennium BCE to the 1st century CE. The Illyrian pantheon was definitely a blended influence from other cultures. Their mythological figures looked a little familiar, with one being named Dracon. But the thing I really wanted to highlight was the relationship with oracles and witches. Oracles, similar to the Greeks, Illyrians consulted oracles to communicate with the gods and receive prophetic messages. These oracles, often female priestesses, would enter a trance-like state and convey divine guidance to those seeking answers. Now, we know Az was quick to pick up on Elaine's gift of being a seer, and seers and oracles aren't the same, but I really think his mother may be an oracle or a seer.
What if the three-phase goddess gifts oracle seers, like, the good ones that perform the yielding, which just makes it a witch still recycled, I guess?
Recycled witch, yeah.
It just might connect her to other theories.
When I was looking up the lore of Illyrians, we've talked, I can't wait to get into it. I saw the oracle thing and I was like, gotta bring this up to Kylie.
I'm unwell.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was just for you, boo-boo.
Rigellus continues to monologue, saying that Midgard is a base where they lured other beings there, others who happen to be conquerors as well. Celestial conquistadors, if you will. All of them.
You're proud of that. And you should be,
I laughed so hard. I Googled it after. I was like, did anybody else think of this? Because I just think it's so funny. No. The answer is no. They opened doors to other worlds too, and Queen Thea and her 2 daughters learned too late about them. Nobody's going to understand that that's a Teresa Giudice inside joke.
Like, why does she speak so funny? She's saying daughters.
I can't speak anyway. Her people were already here. She and the princesses discovered where the Asteri had hidden the access points in their world and shut the gates to stop them. That included the gates to hell, their allies. Because of that, the 6 Asteri remain on Midgard, trapped and cut off from the cosmos. They still have the mystics looking for any survivors out there on other planets, though. He expects Bryce to open the doors again after 15,000 years. Rigellus knows that Rune and Hunt are there too. Continuing with his monologue, he knew Danica was onto him. Her bloodbound gift allowed her to scent other shifters with strange powers that shifters should not have. So that's why Danica started digging to find out where her gifts came from, and found out that the shifters are fae. Oh my god, if I have to say shifters one more time. Bryce wanted to know, why lie to everyone? Basically, everyone was ideal food and they didn't want them to unite against them. Bryce asked about Project Thur, since he was just spilling the beans. Thur was the last time someone got as far as Danica did. The Asteri are liars. Weird.
I know. Shocking. It does make me wonder why Hel chose to partner with the Fae and are such loyal allies. Why? I could be wrong. I just don't believe the princes of Hell, not all of them, some of them, really give a shit so much how the Fae end up. I think it's probably for their own gain, a lot of them. They're just, in my mind, I think there's a little bit of an ulterior motive that we don't yet know. But I do think it's like a Valg on Valg battle, and they can win with the Fae, specifically Starborn Fae, and that they're using it to their advantage.
Giving the question, is it are the Asteri gods?
Yeah. Or,
Right.
we know that their sibling is Daglan, so are they gods? Are Valg gods?
Which one's the redheaded stepchild?
In my head, I think the Princes of Hell and Valg are the most similar, and I'll take Daglan and Asteri. So that's why I think there might be a battle royale. I don't know why I said it. I couldn't help myself. Can't not say battle royale.
He only mentions, he being Rigulus, only mentions two forms of fae. So Bryce's fae is from a lovely land rich with magic. Her starborn bloodline specifically hailed from a small isle a few miles from the mainland. And while the mainland had all manners of climes, the isle existed in beautiful near permanent twilight. Only a select few in the entirety of your world could shift from their humanoid forms to animal ones. And then there's the Midgard shifters. They were fae from a different planet. All the fae in the world shared their form with an animal, and the Mer descended from them too.
Yes. I'm like, is this confirmation that mares came from the Tog world? Was Rolf banging mares? I just feel like he was.
I feel like they stole from more planets than just those two, being with our theory of the rift in the Melanoid Trench specifically. Like, I feel like that would open a world up to the mare people and maybe elementals. And then there's the Southern Rift. Who knows? Like, I just think that there's way more from other planets.
Well, when Aelin was falling, yes, she saw a different Fey world that wasn't even Reese's or like, there's got to be more. And then it makes you wonder of like, at the end of Kingdom of Ash, when Fenris is going to go see that other land that runs like a democracy or whatever, what are those Fey like? Are they similar? Maybe they came from somewhere else. There's just a lot of questions.
Because there is shifters in Throne of Glass with
Yeah.
Fae on the same planet, and it's like, okay, well, did the Valg open the doors up and bring other like same situation earlier, and then that's how we got shifters and Fae on that planet to begin with, in Aurelia specifically. I think there's too many. This sounds terrible. Too many breeds of Fae.
You're kind of racist against the Fae, aren't you?
No, what's the word I'm looking for? Not breed. That's terrible. They're not animals. They're not cattle.
Now breed is just stuck in my head, so I can't help you. There's multiple different types of Fae and different, that don't just seem like they're from Prythian and just seem like they're from Aurelia.
Asteri are liars too, so they're probably lying realistically.
Yeah, they're not going to say there's others.
Yeah, just because he's monologuing doesn't mean he's completely honest.
We know that evil people, when they monologue, lie a lot. Just ask Theophany.
It's his truth. It is his truth. And that's fine, but you're wrong, Rigulus.
We want to know what Death's truth is, not Rigelus's truth.
Turns out Sophie was unknown, so she was used to poke around because Danica was too recognizable. A mystic figured it out, though, so the Asteri had Micah do their bidding with the synth without him even knowing. Bryce teleported out of there to the alcove and saw Hunt bound with Gorzian manacles, and he was on his knees. As she was looking at him, the harpy clamped manacles onto Bryce's wrists. Dumb bitch.
I was like, hate the harpy.
I extra hate her. Like, I know I would see her. She's just got a punchable face. Like, I don't picture her pretty at all. I just know that she's punchable.
They say that she's pretty, but I think it's one of those types where on paper she might be, but we hate her so much. We're like, no, she's fucking ugly.
I agree. Fuck that gal.
Chapter 74. Therian tried running. Cormac yelled for him to run and then was shot by Bitcha Asbestos. There was a gaping hole in Haughty Cormac's chest, and he looked at... Therian looked at Cormac, whose eyes were rippling with fire, in silent command to run. He started running. Pip was triumphantly smiling with the mech suit going towards Cormac, but Cormac lifted a bloody hand and pointed to the 5 glowing beings. The Asteri had come. That's what she said. Cormac, without any warning, erupted into a ball of fire. Therian ran like Forrest, headed towards the coast, and when he was half a mile away, the building exploded.
Okay, it said Cormac gave no warning as he erupted into a ball of fire. Once again, Cormac yielded. While the yielding is normally described as the Iron Teeth Witch yields life to the darkness, its power fills her and unleashes from her in an ebony wave, a manifestation of what lies in our souls. But when the 13 yielded, it was not darkness, but light, light bright and pure as the sun on snow that erupted from Asteri. Therian had said, white light rippled into the sky, the Asteri's rage. I think it was the impact of Cormac. Like Astern, he was good despite what he thought, so he produced bright light similar. He did it for the greater good. Based on what I think happened to the 13 and the SJM Call Her Daddy interview, she avoided the question of, is Cormac alive? So something else could have happened to him in that yielding.
And we've discussed, do they really die with the yielding or do they go somewhere else? Multiple times. And I just feel like they go somewhere else.
Recycled witches.
They're like witches, you know? The world is regenerating witches in different realms.
Reincarnation is the word I'm looking for.
I like recycling.
It just took a minute.
Rune was slumped on the cell floor, and to his horror, Bryce and Hunt entered with Gorzian shackles. Mordock explained to them that he was the one ratting them out to the Asteri with all their rebel activities, and Rigelus has a special interest in all of them. Apparently, Hunt has a wrong scent. He doesn't smell like the other angels. And Mordock remembered him. The harpy wanted to get a head start on them. She ran a blade down Rune's face on both sides. Hunt and Bryce both were freaking out, yelling at her to stop. And right before she went to shove the knife in his throat, something golden and swift as the wind barreled into the harpy. Rune recognized that lovely scent and then looked up to see who it belonged to. Dun, dun, dun! The Hind.
Something golden and swift as the wind. That golden wind, it is the witch attributes of the Hind. She's a witch. She just doesn't talk about it. She's embarrassed of her lineage.
She's a warrior witch.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody's fighting me on it, so everybody agrees. It's canon.
Oh, nobody's fighting you.
Chapter 75. It is another action chap with a lot of info. I feel like I have to warn people. The harpy is pissed that the Hind attacked her and is a traitor. They sword fight because Lydia is a badass and can do it all. She was able to back the harpy near Rune, who took her legs out, and then Lydia plunged her sword into the top of the harpy's spine, right through her neck. Shortly after that, she cut the harpy's head off. Girl power. Bryce asks if this was a trap, and Lydia tells her not in the way that she thinks. The Hind tried to warn Rune, but then Pollux got rapey to her. Mordic had been the one feeding Rigelus info of Rune's whereabouts. They accused Lydia of killing Sophie, and she explained she actually called for help from the city ship and told them about the calling stones and how they are beacons partnered with mystics to help. Rune is pissed about Sophie and says people died at her hands, being the Hind's hands, not Sophie's. He's not wrong, but he's also not hearing her. Damn, I was deep in my feelings. Pollux was coming. But good thing they had a plan, and so Bryce punched Lydia in the face and was beating her when he arrived. He wasn't coming in that way. Hunt did not like Pollux.
I'm sorry, but Pollux was coming, and then and then Bryce punched her in the face. Like, what a porno, you know?
Honestly, it sounds like right on par for Lunathian's porn.
Probably. They're into it. Sure.
Hunt did not like Pollux grabbing his mate by the neck like a cat, and Pollux did not like what happened to the harpy and the Hind. The Hind and Pollux escorted Bryce, or Bice as Blakely lovingly calls her, Hunt and Rune to the Asteri. Hunt held Bryce's shaking hand and realized that the Hind had not secured her manacles. The Hind was doing everyone a solid and helping her get out. Rune was not as happy about the hind being a rebel. He was pissed at her and blocked her when she was trying to reach him through Mindspeak. Just like it's AOL Instant Messenger. Block.
CRV.
She's got an away message up for her, like TTYN, talk to you never.
Rune would have them so many emo away messages.
Oh my gosh, it wouldn't even have the message. It would just be like the emo song of the day. Like that's its choice. Pollux thought Rune was eye fucking the hind, so he licked her neck in front of him, and Rune was ready to kill him. But he was also he was still mad at her for who she was in real life, and he didn't know how to get over that. So Rude's thinking why he wanted and needed that steel-clad wall between him and Lydia, even as his blood howled to murder Pollux, how he could abhor her and need her, be drawn to her in the same breath. And it's like, you sweet summer child, you love her. She's your lobster. I don't know why I said lobster like that.
There. I'm just now picturing the little claws. Okay, I get Rune being shocked and pissed that the gal he loves is a ruthless, murdering double agent. But him ignoring her in this like critical moment is like, ugh, men are always just so fucking dumb all the time.
I was going to say, like, in Faye terms, he is young, for sure.
Yeah, he's a baby.
But Lydia is also young, but she's like way more mature in this moment. Like, Lydia gets props. Like, fuck you, Rune. I'm so mad at you because, like, she has to be this, like, nasty bitch to the world, but really, she's a good gal. Like, Rune, don't be a dick. I'm so mad.
I just think he's being a dumbass.
Yeah.
Like it's a crisis right now, and you could have intel that you need, and you're like, I'm ignoring you. Like, what?
If I can't see you, you're not there.
Like, yes, this is a way message up. Nope. Like, it's so stupid.
They walk down a long, long hallway with busts of the losers known as Asteri. Bryce realizes that Rigelus wouldn't have told her so much if he planned on letting her go. There was a quartz arch at the end of the hall, but that's not where they were going. They entered a cavernous crystal space with 7 thrones. In the middle sat Rigelus, and he is not impressed that Bryce killed the Harpy. She'd never seen a hall so long. A wall of windows stretched along one side, overlooking the palace grounds, an ancient city beyond. What an interesting detail. Several long hallways were mentioned in the glass castle in Throne of Glass, including a glass hallway. The only long hallway mentioned in ACOTAR was a marble one under the mountain, so don't worry, I did check.
Don't worry. I'm going to keep going on this because I was like, I'm not done yet. So between the dungeons, far underneath the palace, and then the long hallways, not even fucking to mention it's a crystal palace. In Tog, the palace was described as crystalline towers and bridges, chambers, turret, dome ballrooms, and long, endless hallways. Word for word. Plus, where the thrones were, I mean, Your Honor, we rest our case. It is the same. But I'm actually most interested in one line. Something feral opened an eye in Bryce's soul. Remember, Bryce has a horn on her back, an 8-pointed star on her chest. That horn is a gate where gods could go through. Plus, like I made the case for in our House and Earth and Blood coverage, I believe that the 8-pointed star is a symbol not only for Starborn, but also for the gods. But this moment, it reminded me of in Throne of Glass series when Deanna inhabited Aylin's body with the cold white light, tendrils flickered silver flame. Because remember, a temporary gate opened inside of her. Now in ACOTAR, Feyre describes the gods as feral gods. And then Feyre, I don't believe had a god inhabit her, but at the very least nudged her for even a moment. When the Naga was hunting Feyre down after she captured the cereal, there was no reason for her to survive at that moment, but a white-hot flame went through her. Rage or terror or wild instinct, I don't know. The I don't know was telling. But, oh wait, which white-hot flame is associated with Mala. And later, Nesta, when using the dread trope, this happened. Nesta's eyes blazed with a silver fire behind the mask, and Cassie knew the being that looked out was neither fae or human, nor anything that walked the lands of this world. I definitely think Deanna plays by her own set of rules and is using the gate to inhabit the queens of many faces. The something feral opened an eye in Bryce's soul, I think was Deanna.
I'm on board with that.
Thanks.
Mentioning the queen with many faces, I like this. I'm into it.
That's how they're going to win. They have to use all the queens, and that's just what we believe.
Solid. Signed off on it. Good job.
Chapter 76. This chapter is a long one. A long one. A lot of information and a lot of action. Hunt was staring at his and Shahar's old severed wings on the wall above the Asteri's throne, and woof, was that not proof that they shouldn't have gotten involved and laid low instead? Bryce and Rigel start having a little back and forth banter, but not in a cute way. He wanted Bryce to confess the names of their allies. Hunt could smell Mordock and Baxi Boy behind him. Bryce says there was no one else, but let's talk about your intergalactic parasites who trick us into making the drop so you can feed off our first light, and then feed off our soul's second light when we die. And then continues along with the fact that if we destroy that core of first light beneath this palace, Rigela's commanded to shut the front door, and then the room shuddered with power. He's like, hey, we know about Hottie Cormac. We knew about all his little activities, but we let him live to see who else he would convince to join the cause. But he's deader than a doornail now.
Just saying that with a straight face, like my poor Cormac.
I know, my bad.
It said Shahar's pristine white wings were displayed above his, still glowing after all these centuries, right in the center of the array. Isaiah's were to the left of Hunt. So many wings, so many fallen, all preserved here. Where have we seen this before? Oh, right. Tamlin did something similar. I couldn't find my spot.
No.
Big dramatic pause. Tamlin did something similar with Reese's sister and mom. That's weird. Where did he get the idea? Let me remind you of the story. When Reese's mother and sister came to see him, he was training a new unit. Tamlin's father's brothers and Tamlin himself set out into the Illyrian wilderness. Having heard from Tamlin where my mother and sister would be, that I had plans to see them, I was supposed to be there. I wasn't. And they slaughtered my mother and sister anyway. It should have been me, but they put their heads in boxes and sent them down the river to the nearest camp. Tamlin's father kept their wings as trophy. I'm surprised you didn't see them pinned in the study. Reese's dad ended up killing Tamlin's dad, so Tamlin killed Reese's dad. Lots of murdering. We learn later that Tamlin burned the wings. Why? And where did they get the idea to pin the wings up? I think High Lords are so weird.
And to know that the Spring Court had relations with Highburn and I think probably Daglan.
And they have that big pool of starlight that during that interview, Sarah Janet didn't answer any questions about. So I think it plays relevance.
It should have. And the way that you and I was fucking spiraled about High Lords, I truly cannot wait to really dive deep into them when it comes time for our ACOTAR coverage, but they're weird. High Lords are weird.
They're super weird considering they get their magic from the land. They're just, once again, we can blow our theory load later, but there is a lot on them.
Okay. We talked about Shahar mythology lore way back when, maybe like 3 episodes into House and Earth and Blood deep dive. Shahar means dawn and was a god in Canaanite religions, and he had a twin named Shalim. Shalim's name signifies peace, but in the Canaanite religion, this twin was the god of dusk, which is in fact quite curious. Maybe SJM was just willy-nilly picking names, but I don't know. I just want to remind you, in mythology, Orion was the lover of Eos, which is the goddess of dawn. Now, I'm not at all bringing this up to take away from Hunt and Bryce being mates. SJM confirms that they are in fact mates, which, like we've said the whole time, we just believe that they're chosen mates. and Karanom. I just think that it's the symbolism of Hunt seeing him and Shahar's wings up above the starry thrones and him being in what feels like the same situation yet again is something to have note, and the mythology is odd. Like, why would she do that? I have questions.
Me too. And I know we're
Okay.
going to get they will get answered because we actually have dates.
We do have dates, but we might not get these questions answered till Crescent City 4. We shall see.
Who's to say?
Rigels goes on that maybe they need to get the Thotham King because he was so good at using his fire to get things out of Ruin when he was a boy. Ruin tells Bryce that she has brought so much joy in his life. His goodbye. Bryce tells Asteri that she will open a portal for them as long as they let them live and leave them unharmed forever. Hunt was big pissed to find out that's why they lured them there. Rige was like, well, you were too famous to snatch off the streets, and I had to get you somehow. He also drops the bomb that he impersonated Adis in cat form and nudged him towards the Rebel Club. He also was the one who sent the Reapers, and the Bone Quarter incident was to get her to test her true powers and start honing it. Apollyon also wanted to hone her powers and nudge her in the right direction, which is why he sent the Death Stalkers. So she would learn how to do the skill she needed to do right now.
It will always make me laugh that Ethan was petting Rigelus. It's just a heavy pet. A heavy pet.
Well, with Ethan, sure.
Maybe it was aggressive. Who knows? Maybe there was a butt pat or two.
Just a heavy pet. You know how he is.
Gross. It said the Bone Quarter was a testing ground for your true power. Is this because the veil is thinner there?
Good question. Hunt tried to deny their rebel activity and was like, no way, Jose. Celestina can vouch for us. Regulus was like, LOL. She reported you not once, but twice, you silly. She may have once been a friend to Shar, but she's going to do whatever she can to protect what she loves the most. Hunt asks if they're going to attack Hell, and Rigel's like, nay, not our tip-top priority. Hey, B, do you know what that star in your chest does? And Bryce is like, assume I know nothing. He tells her that it's a beacon to the world from which the Fae originally came from. It sometimes glows when the nearest Fae who have undiluted bloodlines from that world. Prince Cormac, for example. Bryce says it glows for Hunt, and he tells her it glows for those who she chooses as her loyal companions, knights. He continues the never-ending monologue, saying the star will lead us back to the world through you. They overthrew our brethren who once ruled there. We have not forgotten. Our initial attempt was foiled by your ancestry, who also bore that star on her chest. The Fae have still not atoned for their deaths of our brothers and sisters. Their homeworld was rich with magic. I crave more of it. Bryce is like, well, okay. My offer still stands. Let them free, and I'll do it. Rige was like, fine, you can say goodbye. Bryce gave Hunt a hug, and he tells her he loves her and says, I quote, our love is stronger than time, greater than any distance. Our love spans across the stars and world, and I will find you again, I promise. He kisses her, and she steps back and goes to room. She sobs while she hugs him, a small weight dropped into her pocket. He whispers to her that he lied about what the oracle told him. He tells her that the royal line will end with him, and he's the last of his line. He tells her that he doesn't think the oracle saw her, and she has to live and be queen. She didn't want to accept it. He mind speaks to her, telling her to grab the star sword when she leaves. Tells her to go to Hell. They need armies, but if Apollyon's cost is too high, don't come back to this world. Rune pulled away and said, long live the queen. The chains fell from her wrist. She grabbed the star sword, plunged into her power, and blasted her power at Regulus.
Long live the queen. Okay, Aelin reincarnated.
Right.
And I love that he's like telling her to go to hell. Like, it's obviously the place like they want to go, but it's just like, go to hell.
Go to hell, you bitch sister. Hunt's chains fell to the floor, and he blasted his power at Regulus too. I'm sorry, the blasting, it really is sounding like a porno here, and I apologize. Bryce was running towards the doors, and Pollux lunged for her, but Baxi Boy tackled him. Mordock is Murder Inc. to me. I'm never going to not think that. Mordock was bleeding from a gash in his throat, and the hind was unconscious on the ground. He turned back around, but too late because the bright hand blasted to him with his power. Sorry, not mature enough for this. Rigulus was glowing like a god and was running after Bryce. Bryce ran down the long hall with Rigulus on her tail. He kept throwing his power towards Bryce but missed. Hunt's power did not, though. It went right into her back.
All I could think was a back shot when I was reading.
I know. She went into the archway of the gate, and Rigulus had his fingers in her hair. Oh my god. Rigulus had his fingers in her hair. Not at all sexual, but she teleported for the gate. Her power was dwindling, but she kept teleporting. I'm really sorry. I don't know how to not make this up.
It's worse.
Right? You guys ready? She ended up right behind Rigulus and blasted light into his face. Think it's better? And then teleported once more into the gate. No. Okay, it caught her. Sticky like a web. Nope. And time slowed to a glacial drop.
What were you thinking when you wrote this?
She thrusts her power to make the gate take her, and her alone. Rigulus yelled, "No!" And she screamed into the darkness as she fell slowly, without end, sideways. Not a plunge down, but a yank across. She continued to scream.
No period. She just kept going.
Kept going, guys. I could not have made that sound more like a porno.
No.
So instead of Zach and Miri make a porno, it's Blakely and Kai. Direct a porno. Crescent City. We're not making one. We're not.
This has escalated too far.
I'm gonna get my shit together. Ready? I just want to point out the time slowing portion of this, because once again, when world walking and in terms of different worlds, time is in fact a factor. And then the yanking across line makes me think their worlds are side by side, most likely with Aurelia world on the other side. I have made this theory before that I believe when we talk about the three-faced goddess and how those three circles intersecting and overlapping and darkness in the center, I think the darkness is a symbolism of the void, or possibly hell, which tomato, tomato. And the three worlds are like in Meryl's research. Worlds overlapping, occupying the all caps, same space, but separated by time.
Boom. Roasted.
Bitch. I'm just more and more convinced.
I forget that it's a theory and it's not canon, like not confirmed canon. To us, it is.
I mean, we literally find things every episode for this theory. Yeah. And yes, you can go with, like, if you're looking for it, you can find it. No, it's in here.
It's not even like we're looking for it. It's yelling at us.
Yeah, it is yelling at us. Thank you.
Chapter 77. Hunt was gagged and not in a fun way. He had a Gorzian stone in that magical mouth of his. Rune and Baxian were gagged and bound in the same way. They followed Rigulus toward the now empty gate to where hopefully Bryce was rallying Hell's armies. Rigulus stopped in front of it and said, "Go ahead, Hammer." Pollux held Hunt in place as Rigels created a new halo across the forehead of Hunt. It was definitely painful since he blacked out from the pain, likely a 0 out of 10 experience.
Do you not picture just right now Simba?
That's just how he does it.
Yeah,
He
Rigel
licks his thumb first and just
Simba.
gross. I hate that. Ew. Wonder what the Asteri's breath is like. Do you think they brush their teeth? Do they need to?
I mean, like they said, they're very white. I don't know.
Their
But
veneers for sure.
yeah. And I think of like how Kim Kardashian can smell people's cavities. Like I wonder what she can smell in this dairy's mouth. Like that's ancient mouth. You know what I mean?
They just get a witch in there with the Asteri's mouth open. I hate this. Anyways, Rigel is not getting a witch to ink a halo is interesting because witch's magic comes from the Valk. So how did the celestial conquistador do it?
Mm-hmm. And did he know he could do it all along, but was trying to seem as if they needed the witch's help or wanted the witches on their side, trying to hide their vagueness? Like, what is it?
Were
What
they
was they
trying to
doing?
like not let everyone know how powerful they are?
And
Like,
like,
you
oh
can
no,
know our
we
power,
need
but
you.
this is our secret.
Well, and just like with Hypaxia, her witch's clan wants to essentially get more cozy with Asteri. I think that they've done a good job of making it seem like, oh no, we need you. Do our
I
bidding when
I
we're
bet you she's like descended from fucking Yellowlegs.
yeah, big yellow leg energy, big Baba energy, big Bobs. Somebody even call her Babs.
I hate this. Big Babs.
Big Bobs.
She's selling hot dogs.
But
She
I'm
did
gonna
work at a
stop.
carnival. That was her other job.
She
When
did.
she's not telling stories, she's selling wieners.
Big Bobs. So Big Bobs is slanging wieners left and right, and you know it.
I thought you said slaying, and I was like, good for her.
No, she's ugly.
Hot in her day, but not now. Nay, nay.
Mm-hmm.
Big Bobs.
Big Bobs. Chapter 78. Bryce was real confused when she woke up and hell apparently had an immaculate lawn, mist, a turquoise river, and a city, ancient and beautiful. She was covered in blood and she tried forcing herself to get up, but something icy and sharp pressed against her throat. A cool male voice spoke above her in a language that she no speaky. He was dressed in all black and had wings. Stop. Great black wings. A demon's wings, one would say. Bryce tried getting him to take her to the Adis, begged and pleaded. See, the porno's still going, guys. But a city ancient and beautiful, like something on a Pangerian postcard. It's no coincidence here that she made this comparison. Overlapping worlds, guys, same space, different time.
She saw wings, great black wings, a demon's wings. And just what a weird first thought upon seeing Az.
And then she calls him a demon again, which, with what we found out earlier in the chapter, or confirmed with the Daglan creating the Illyrian, it all comes back to the Daglan being from the void and could definitely be considered a demon. Or maybe it's as specifically being a demon. Maybe he has more of that dog in him. Because when she saw Cassian, she didn't say demon. When she saw Reese, didn't say demon. Just as.
I mean, she would know. She literally canoodles with
She's
it.
got that dog in her. You know?
She's had that dog in her.
She sure has. This beautiful winged demon blindfolded her.
This is the most sexual episode.
This beautiful winged demon blindfolded her and took her into the house. A beautiful house that was decorated in an old-fashioned way that smelled of roses and bread. Bryce tried again asking for help, Az seemed to recognize that word, shook his head with his brow furrowing. Amryn and Cass and Nesta walked in. Elaine was probably busy making her sourdough. Amryn noticed the star sword and then nodded to Az's truth teller, her sword's twin. The star sword began to hum. Amryn whispered, "Gwydion."
SJM, described Amryn, the petite, dark-haired female with angular eyes like Fury's, drew up short. Okay, what if Fury is Amryn's secret daughter?
Which we've obviously made the argument for Fury being Thanatos' daughter. Hell, maybe even Amryn and Thanatos had a baby. Remember, Danica smelled something weird on her, and they shared secrets. Fury is different, and who's to say she couldn't be a spawn of Thanatos and Amryn?
Amryn had a wild romp, you know?
She loves it. Sarah was really making it clear that Avelin Faye came from this world, from the comments of the decor, feeling like her father's study, and even Jessica's office, but also mentioning that their fashion and clothing was like the Avelins. Bryce tried speaking the only other language she knew, the old language of the Fae, asking once again, "Is this hell?" Amryn tells her no one has spoken that language for 15,000 years. Bryce asks if for Adis or Apollyon, but nay, she does not know them. Feyre and a beautiful male that Bryce mistakes as her brother walks in. They have an air about them that makes it obvious that they are HBICs. Feyre tries asking her a question that Bryce doesn't understand, so Amryn translates for her that she wants to know her government name. After she tells her, we get this line. "Hello, Bryce Quinlan. My name is Rhysand." I mean, the fandom went fucking wild when you read that line.
The whole reason I gave that book 5 stars initially was that line, because I was hate reading at that point. Didn't love the story yet. But we're there.
So when Bryce speaks in the old language of the Fae, Amryn tells her no one has spoken that language in 15,000 years. Bryce rubs her face. Had she traveled in time somehow? Or did hell occupy a different time? And once again, freaking time travel. All those haters on the internet talking trash to me with my theories. Hello? But also, notice, Bryce asked for Adis and Apollyon, and they didn't know who the hell she was talking about. But what if she would have asked for Thanatos? Kier openly said something about Lord Thanatos in front of them, and there's no way that Az the spy master wouldn't know of him. And of course, Reese would. And obviously, Amryn would remember her baby daddy.
What if she's embarrassed, though? She's like, ugh. It was a terrible night.
Well, think about it. Thanatos makes the comment about he likes drinking the blood like fine wine. So does Amryn. She loves drinking blood.
We're going to have to unpack this in the next book.
Mm-hmm. Bryce also mistakes Reese for Rune. His eyes were the same shade of violet blue. That's no coincidence, my friends.
Both are 4-letter names with R and H in it.
It's like the Kardashians naming with faith. We solved it. But stay tuned for the next book where we can chat about why, when Bryce was trying to get into hell, it brought her to Velaris. It just, too soon. We'll be there.
Too soon.
Next episode, but not right now.
Next episode.
I know, I'm sorry.
The epilogue. Baby back bitch Ethan was casing the astronomer's building because he had anxious energy. He hadn't heard anything from Pangera except that there was an explosion. He got a call from Flynn saying shit went down and let him know that Rune and Affy were taken prisoner by the Asteri, and that Therian called from the depth charger sharing that Cormac was no more. Ethan asks about Bryce but says he needs to hear it from Declan and see for himself. He does share that she's no longer in this world. Then he plays the friend card and says, "We need you, Wolf." There was no sign of the astronomer still, so he broke in and woke up the lost Fendir heir, telling her that he wasn't leaving her behind. He was nice enough to say please, and that is when her eyes opened. Terrible choices. My heart warms for him, like having real friends, but good God, as if we didn't have enough of a cliffhanger with Bryce, we now have to like deal with Ethan trafficking a mystic. That's wild.
You saying Ethan trafficking a mystic is wild. Accurate, but wild.
We've
I'm
got
with you.
trafficking, we've got celestial conquistadors. It's a crazy episode.
You were really on it. There was a porno happening in the middle of this, like back shots. Like there was a lot,
Wild
you know?
episode.
Oh, and we found out Amarin had a baby with Thanatos. Like, wow. On the next episode of Days of Our Lives.
Truly.
But I love talking shit about Ethan. It's truly low hanging fruit. But him calling his friends a pack, it's cute. Sarah loves a found family, and damn, so do we.
Love that for him. Still don't like him.
For sure. Thanks for giggling through our journey with us today. We have a new episode every Tuesday. Join us next week as we get into the first episode of Crescent City, House of Flame and Shadow. And yes, we have casually mentioned it on here, but with Sarah Janet's announcement, we will be deep diving the ACOTAR series starting in June, and we'll, of course, be deep diving books 6 and 7. Can't wait to hang out with you all this next year in the Maasverse because we're busy.
Make sure that you follow us on social media for all of our latest updates, theories, and more new book goofing. Don't forget to hit subscribe and give us a review wherever you listen. All links are in our info, you giggling gal pals. We'll see you next week.